What's up? What's happening? Que pasa even? Uh, on this episode, I'm gonna be real brief. But what I want to do is that I want to, I guess, do a video request for my man Callie. Shout out to my man Callie for giving me the idea and researching this video and doing this video. Now, I normally don't do videos in reference to current events and different things that are playing out in the media because, I'm more so into the occult. However, if I really wanted to, I always said this and over again, and I probably need to do it at some point, I could do 100 videos just breaking down different occult symbols and different movies and the media and film and just in current events in general. But on this episode, I'm going to be talking about this recent Charleston shooting thing that happened with this Charleston church shooting that took place in Charleston, South Carolina. And pretty much, cats want to know, people out here want to know, what are my views on this whole thing? Like, what is, is this something that really went down? Is there any occult symbols pertaining to this media story? So I'm going to just kind of drop it, the way I see it from my perspective. Before I do that, though, I'm going to break that down shortly. I want to say this because this is going to go into, I guess, the occult symbolism behind this whole shooting thing. If this is a war against the youth, period. If you a young person, you know what I'm saying, if you a star seed, if you're part of the whole Renaissance, this whole thing is against you. This whole story is against you. Some media sources I've been researching online, some people are saying it's a hoax. Of course, the big media, spin doctors, are saying that the shit really went down. But, in me looking at it, this is real. Like, they're at war against you. And whether it happened or not, of which I believe that it didn't happen, by the way, I do believe it's a hoax. But it's definitely real because they are definitely letting you know their plans for you. Like, they don't give a fuck about you. Like, real talk. Like, when it comes to you being young, this whole thing about this Charleston shooting thing represents the young people or the elders and so-called old heads declaring war on the young people. And even though they making it look like this guy, he was about 21 years old, and they're trying to say he just came into a church, which is supposed to be a place of peace, and shot the church up or whatever. That's the whole mind control. That's the whole CIA, MK Ultra mind control that they do on you. You know what I'm saying? Because they get you to watch this, and then you're supposed to feel sympathetic or whatnot because, some church people got shot up or whatnot. It's like, we don't even know if these people really died or not. Like, that's the first thing or whatever. So when you break down a story, because I'm going to get into the occult aspect of it now, any media story, the first thing you want to look at is the names that they're using. You got to remember, these people that create these media stories are nothing but spin doctors, sinister, reptilian-ass snakes. Real talk. And every word they say, every name they use has significance. So you want to look at the names they're using, and they're using this, they call it the Charleston, South Carolina church shooting. If you look at that, this Charleston, South Carolina church shooting, within that name, you're going to see the old Egyptian name for Horus, which was Har, Har, and then you're going to also see within that same name, you're going to see the name Set. And I actually did a video called Satuk or Set. You're going to see Set and you're going to see Horus. And if you know anything about Set and Horus and Set were at war with each other. And they were at war because Horus was upset because Set had his father murdered. He took his father's land, he took his father's women, he basically took his father's everything. And Horus was upset, so he wanted to avenge his father's death. Very significant here, because if you notice that the guy that did the shooting was a young person. So he represents the youth. And I know they saying that it's racial and it's black on, it's white on black and it was a hate crime and all of that. But that even goes deeper into the mind control because they had to make him into a white young person. They couldn't have made him into a young black person. They couldn't have did that because they have to feed into the whole old head aspect or the elders that, sympathize with this whole civil rights thing and, this whole thing about black and white. See, that feeds into the old paradigm. And they want to bring that old paradigm back, the whole slavery paradigm. This is what they're trying to bring back. You see, and it's young. It's the thing is, it's not even racial because the people that created this media story was black and white. See, and they try to make it racial. It didn't have nothing to do with race. It's about the young fighting the old elders, and they've been succeeding at it. The youth have been succeeding at standing firm against these elders because they want to steal your birthright from you. It ties into the story of Jesus and the second coming of Jesus, and that's why they had to use the church, because Jesus represents Horus. And they said that when Jesus came back, he wasn't going to come back to talk. It says this in the Bible. They said he would come back, my teacher always taught me, with a sword dripping with blood. And I'm not exciting any revolution, telling you to go out here and do anything, because you got to remember, it's a hoax. It didn't happen. It's symbolic. And it's representing how the young people, the sword represents the tongue and the power of the mouth and the pen. And the pen is mightier than the sword. And it's young people that are educated in knowing that their birthright and the fact that they have ties to the land. That's the second key word. If you look at the so-called shooter's name, you're going to see two words. You're going to see the word youth. You're going to see the word land. Because the youth are the inheritors of the land, because it says, blessed are the young in heart, because they shall inherit the kingdom of God. This is what it says in the Bible. And the Bible represents, or I should say the youth represents this guy in the land. And the kingdom of God represents the land. You see? And in his name, you see the term land. His name was Dylan Roof. You see the name land. And then in the name Dylan, it's spelled D-Y-L-A-N. And you could have also really looked at it as being youth or roof. If you take that Y and connect it to the O-O-F, you see youth or youth. Because he represents the youth. He was 21 years old. And it goes even deeper than that. And it represented Jesus. And I'm letting you know it's really talking about Jesus now, because his name was Yahshua. He spelled it with a Y, which is very important. And it connects to Jesus' grandmother. Her name was Ruth, or Ruth. You see, because when he traced himself back through his mother's line, through Mary's line, he traces himself back to the land, through his mother. This is how Jesus becomes the inheritor. So when they say when he came back, he didn't come back to talk. So that's why it's a code, a mind control code, a CIA code they putting out in the media, letting the old people know that the young people are basically getting wise. They don't want to submit to the matrix that we had set up in the old paradigm. So now we have to declare war against him. And that's why they say they caught him in North Carolina. The shooting took place in South Carolina. Why did they catch him in North Carolina? Because North Carolina ties into deep land ties with what's called the Yamasee tribe, which represents the young people. And they call it the Yamasee. Some people call it the Yamasee tribe. And the Yamasee tribe is the real meaning, or the real name for the Cherokee tribe. It's not called the Cherokee. That they called it the Cherokee. That's not the original name what the Cherokees called themselves. They were called Yamasees. And this is where, in North Carolina, is where the Cherokees really had their biggest empire, where they set up shop. And so they say that they caught him there because this is where the whole stage, takes place. It's all planned out, based on the 13 colonies and North Carolina being one of them. So that's my views on it. You can look into it. It's even deeper than that. If you look at the data that happened, it adds up to 22, which is a master number. Let you know there's some deep so-called Illuminati symbolism, and it's definitely conspiratorial, and it's definitely real. And I'm going to go ahead and shut down, now. And there's a lot more that I can say. And if you have any ideas and things that you want me to maybe talk about or say, or you want to just add it, you can shoot me an email, or hopefully if the comments are open, if we decide to do that, leave the comments. If not, I don't know. However, that's my views on it. I do believe it was a hoax personally. Even if it did happen, it doesn't take away from the fact, I do want to say this, it doesn't take away from the fact that it's still a conspiracy and it's still symbolism, even if it did happen. So say for instance they come out and say, well, it did happen, and they come out with some proof. It doesn't take away from anything that I'm saying, because the names are what you look at. That's the most important thing, because they choose which stories that they want to report. They could have chose any story, yet they chose to report that. There's shootings that happen all the time. Just like it's something that happened in St. Louis with U.S. Bank, the shooting up at U.S. Bank. They ain't talking about that really on the news. They making this a big thing for a reason, you see. So wake up, wise up. That's my spill on it, my drop on it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm going to go ahead and shut down until we meet again. Stay strong, stand firm, keep studying, keep researching. Don't let them break your spirit.